What if the most dangerous risk in investing isn't losing money, but believing a lie? A lie so seductive, so deeply woven into our culture of ambition, that it traps nearly everyone who dares to chase financial freedom. We see it everywhere. The 20-something crypto millionaire leaning against a Lamborghini, the day trader with a wall of monitors who claims to have found the secret code of the market. The message is simple and intoxicating. The market is a puzzle, and with the right knowledge, the right tool, or the right influencer, you can solve it. You can be the one who wins. But then there's the other side of the screen. The silent, creeping dread of a portfolio bleeding red. The frantic checking of prices. The gut-wrenching fall after a moment of soaring hope. These two realities can't both be the whole truth. They represent a fundamental conflict between the story we are sold and the reality most people experience. In this video, we're not going to give you stock tips or tell you the next big thing. Instead, we're going to deconstruct the single most powerful and destructive illusion in finance, the financial mirage. We will explore the psychological traps that our own minds set for us and uncover why the very act of trying to beat the market is what so often leads to our ruin. To do this, we have to first understand a key concept from psychology: cognitive dissonance. It's that deeply uncomfortable feeling you get when your beliefs and your actions or your beliefs and reality are in direct conflict. And it's this feeling that the financial mirage exploits to perfection. Most people enter the world of investing with a core belief, that it's a game of information and intellect. The prevailing myth is that if you do your homework, read the charts, and understand the company, you can predict the future. You can separate the winners from the losers. This idea is propped up by an entire industry. We see news anchors celebrate a company's strong earnings report just before the stock soars. We follow investors who post complex charts full of lines and indicators, suggesting they possess a kind of clairvoyance. We hear stories of someone who bought Amazon in 1997 or Bitcoin in 2011, and we internalize the lesson. They saw something others didn't. They were smarter. This vision of the market as a meritocracy is incredibly appealing because it places control squarely in our hands. It suggests that success or failure is a direct result of our own effort and intelligence. But if this were true, if it was a solvable game, why do study after study show that over 90% of active retail traders lose money over the long term? If the charts hold a secret language, why do Ivy League-educated hedge fund managers consistently fail to beat simple, passive index funds? The data paints a picture that is deeply at odds with the popular myth. And here lies the first crack in the mirage. The evidence suggests that the game isn't what we think it is. What if the feeling of control is just an illusion, and the patterns we see are just ghosts? To understand what's really happening, we need to introduce a powerful analytical tool: the narrative fallacy. Coined by the writer Nassim Taleb, this is our innate and very human tendency to simplify the world by creating stories. Our brains are pattern-finding machines, but they despise randomness and complexity. So, to make sense of a chaotic world, we connect dots that aren't really there. We impose a simple cause and effect story onto a complex system. Let's re-examine a common event through this lens. A stock you own suddenly jumps 15%. The narrative fallacy immediately kicks in. You tell yourself a story. I knew it. My research paid off. The company's new product is a game changer. You feel like a genius, but the reality could be 1,000 different things. It could be a large institutional buy that has nothing to do with the company's fundamentals, a random market fluctuation, or even a rumor that turns out to be false. The story you tell yourself, however, is much cleaner and far more satisfying. It reinforces your belief that you are in control. What seems like brilliant analysis is, in reality, your mind's defense mechanism against the terrifying randomness of the market. You aren't analyzing a system. You're telling yourself a fairy tale where you are the hero. And this brings us to the most dangerous moment in any new investor's journey. It's not the first loss. It's the moment their favorite story starts to fall apart. Let's say that stock you bought, the one your beautiful narrative was built around, starts to plummet. The company misses earnings, a competitor emerges, the market turns. Your belief is now in direct conflict with the reality on your screen. This is where that cognitive dissonance kicks into overdrive. To resolve this painful mental tension, you have two choices. You can admit your story was wrong, that you were lucky before and unlucky now, and sell at a loss. Or you can do what most people do. You can double down on the story. You tell yourself, the market is just overreacting. This is a buying opportunity. The fundamentals are still strong. This act of buying more of a losing asset isn't a financial strategy. It's a psychological defense. You are literally paying money to protect your narrative, to protect your ego from the admission that you were wrong. The financial loss is secondary to the psychological pain of a shattered worldview. This is the heart of the Mirage. It transforms you from an investor into a believer, and in the church of the stock market, faith is a very expensive commodity. If the story we tell ourselves is the trap, then what is the real engine driving these wild swings? To answer that, we have to look past the numbers and into the primal forces of human psychology. The reason we fall for these narratives isn't because we're greedy or stupid. It's because we're human. We are biologically wired to seek certainty and control in a world that offers very little of either. The financial market is the ultimate embodiment of chaos, a global system with billions of inputs and near-infinite complexity. Believing you can predict it is a shield against the anxiety of that chaos. It gives us a sense of agency. This isn't a new phenomenon. Think of the California gold rush in the 1840s. A handful of early prospectors struck it rich, and their stories became legendary. That narrative, of abundant gold just waiting to be found, drove hundreds of thousands to risk everything. The vast majority found nothing but poverty and hardship. The story was infinitely more powerful than the statistical reality. The financial mirage is the modern gold rush, except the gold is a ticker symbol, and the pickaxe is a trading app. To understand the conclusion of this journey, we have to understand what happens when that illusion finally breaks. But I know what you might be thinking. What about the exceptions? What about the person who bought GameStop at $10? Or the investor who held Tesla through all its volatility and is now a millionaire? Their success seems to refute everything we've discussed. It's the ultimate proof that you can win, that the mirage is, for some, a reality. This is perhaps the most brilliant and cruel feature of the trap, because it uses the truth to sell a lie. We must now apply our tool of the narrative fallacy to this counter-argument. The phenomenon at play here is called survivorship bias. We see the one winner standing on the podium, so we write a story about their genius, their foresight, their courage. What we don't see are the thousands of others who made similar high-risk bets on other long-shot companies and were wiped out completely. Their stories are never told. Their portfolios are buried in a mass, unmarked grave of failed narratives. The winner's success doesn't prove that their strategy was brilliant. It often proves they were the lucky beneficiary of extreme randomness. Their victory wasn't a product of skill, it was a statistical anomaly. And so, the ultimate aha moment is this. The rare, spectacular winner doesn't disprove the mirage. They are, in fact, its most powerful fuel. Their story becomes the marketing campaign that lures the next 100,000 people into the game, a game that is statistically designed for them to lose. So, we have the dream, born from the myth of control. We have the narrative fallacy, the tool our mind uses to build that dream. We have the catastrophic danger of doubling down to protect our ego. And we have the illusion of the big winner, the outlier who keeps the whole system running. It all builds a psychological machine that is brutally effective. The final breaking point for the investor isn't a number on a screen. It's an emotional and intellectual event. It's the moment the financial pain becomes so overwhelming that it finally shatters the narrative. It's the raw, unfiltered confrontation with randomness and the humbling admission, I had no idea what I was doing. Only after the mirage has been burned away can true understanding begin. But now that we understand the machine that drives the investor toward ruin, what does it actually mean to invest successfully? If the game is rigged against our own psychology, how do you play without losing your money and your mind? The answer changes everything.